Good morning. It's still 11:59, a couple minutes early. Obviously, a great week. It's a lot better Sunday than last week. Some real positives when you watch the tape against a good Georgia Tech team. You know, I guess first thing I'll start with the special teams. It was night and day from what it was a week ago. We made three big time plays on special teams, which we talked about with our guys about making plays. And the first we put our punt return team on the field. I think that second offensive series on a fourth and long, and Jimmy Madura comes up with a big time play. His old defensive base, helping out obviously there. The stopper down the ball inside the 1 yard line is a gigantic play. Makes them have to go 99, where they score ate up a lot of clock to go that far. And then obviously, the hands team at the end was, a huge play, getting the ball back. Some great blocking going on that play as well, which allowed the ball to go out of bounds. With a great bounce, they couldn't ask for a bigger kick than the one they've got. Defensively, when you look at really what we did to them in the first half, there's only been two other teams that you look at in the last 39 games that played as good as they, our Panthers played this weekend. They were in the likes of defense like Clemson and Georgia. So if you look at the last 39 games against them, a shutout in the first half, when Georgia and Clemson has done that to them. And the same thing with holding them to 19 points. 19 points in the last 39 games only happened probably a handful of times. And the other teams that do that and hold them under 19 points have been Georgia and Clemson. Two pretty good football teams and great defenses. So happy with the way they played. Offensively, thought we started really fast. And as a whole, didn't finish as well as we wanted in the second half. And that's the same thing defensively. If you look at our second half woes, I think someone asked that question on Saturday after the game. You look at why. To me, is it a lack of focus? What is it? But we got 5 of our 7 penalties are in the second half. Why are we not as detailed? On defense, I don't know if it was a face mask or not. It looked like a helmet rub. But we got too close to the head, and they call it, which again, don't think it was a great call. I can see why they did, but that's a 3rd down and 17. So of those 5 penalties, I believe all 5 of them were on what we call money down, a 3rd down, whether it's offense or defense. And offensively, we got a 3rd and 1 that we're going to get it. We got a holding in the backfield. We got a 4th and 3. We jump off sides. But we're going for it. I think we got a play that's going to spring on them, but we shoot ourselves in the foot with a holding, a legal procedure, whatever it may be, on critical downs. So we got to be sharper on 3rd down, period. We got to execute better on 3rd down and look at what we're doing there. So, and then obviously we got North Carolina, who we've struggled with in the past, and again, as you guys know, I don't really look in the past. I look at really the last 3 years and really what's happened and how they've been able to squeak it out at the end. It's always been a close game, so we know it's going to be a ball game this weekend. We got to come to play against a great football team, against well coached. I think Larry Fedora does a great job. Got a lot of respect for how he does it on both sides of the football. So they got a great staff and really good football players. So, questions?
Those North Carolina games, the past few years, when, like you said, they somehow find a way to edge you guys out. Is that something that you mentioned to the guys this week at all, or do you just sort of let it?
I think they know it. If I had to tell you why, I'd be real controversial and probably be on ESPN tonight, so I wouldn't get into the reasons why. So we'll stay off ESPN. But we got to find a way to win, period. And the past doesn't really matter. This football team is different than the last and the last and the last. We got a great challenge going down there to play in Chapel Hill, and our guys got to be ready.
Have you noticed a trend in those 3 games you coached against North Carolina that they were able to win the games?
I think they do a great job on offense and defense. I mean, the trend is they're playing better football than we are, and they're winning the game. And then there's some other trends that we won't discuss.
What kind of challenge does Ratliff Williams present? He had some success. Ratliff Williams, wide receiver. Yeah. What does he do well? What did he do against you last year? And what did you see?
He's a great receiver. Ratliff Williams will make plays and go up and get it. He's shown that that he's a playmaker. He's the guy we're going to have to stop. So we'll dig deep into that and what he's doing, how he's doing it, and try to shut him down.
Is he a similar player to Hamler for Penn State?
No, he's more on the outside. Hamler's a slot receiver. he's an X. I mean, they move him around a little bit, but he'll be to the field of the boundary. But he's more of a deep play guy. Where Hamler's an explosive inside slot receiver, and they can get him matched up on a safety too. So we'll practice that as well.
Virginis was a big reason why you guys were able to hold them the way you did Saturday. Made a lot of plays again this week. Is this what you thought you'd get out of him last year, or is he maybe even better after having that year away?
It's hard to tell. I think it was what we were going to get out of him last year, to be honest with you. Can you tell if he's better than he was last year? I know his mind's locked in. He's engaged. I coach at the beginning of the year. The guy's impressive. He's making plays all over the field and running in the pass game. He's a great football player. I told you, one of the best Mikes I've been around. The only way you prove that is to do it week after week. And he does a great job with the game plan. He knows what's going on. He makes everybody else around him better.
Last week you said with Georgia Tech you guys spent time on it all off season. Is there anything that you've been preparing for North Carolina?
Not really, because it's kind of one of those offenses that you see just about every week. Besides the different personnel, Nathan Elliott, the guy that started against us last year, was like on fire last year. I don't know if the guy could have played better than he played. He's a coach's kid. He's just a guy that's a football player. And, I think he does some great things. He's got great touch, really accurate on the deep ball English, on the intermediate passes. So, that's not different. A lot of things they do concept-wise, we do. So we kind of see that type of offense every week. We got to lock into what they do. They do a lot of things with motion and shifting and just try to get one angle right. And again, you're going to get back to it's more like a Penn State offense. It really is. It's a lot of RPOs, and they do a good job in their zone game.
How did your offensive line grade out after watching the video yesterday?
You know what? Pretty darn good. Pretty good against I think an odd front, something we hadn't seen. But I don't think there was one mental error up front. When you watch some of those runs and you just put the highlight tape on, I can throw a highlight tape up. Just some of the blocking was really good. I mean, just like Quadri's first touchdown run. I mean, it couldn't have been executed any better than what it was. So obviously, the quarterback got hit one time. You like to keep your quarterback clean. You give up 0 sacks on the quarterback. I think they had 3 TFLs the whole day. So we've eliminated the negative run as far as just negative plays in the backfield. So those are good things. The O-line did a nice job.
I'm assuming you would have liked to see Carolina play UCF, considering you're going to play both of those teams. Other than you missing out on a film opportunity, does them not having played last week mean anything to you?
Well, I mean, it obviously gave them a week of rest, and obviously wasn't for a good reason. So our thoughts and prayers with everybody down in North Carolina dealing with that hurricane and how devastating that's been to the people down there. So I don't think that's easy on anybody. So their kids and families that they have down there got to deal with that, and I don't know who's been affected by that personally. So those are all things I don't know. But they had a week off. They'll be fresher. I know nobody got hurt this weekend. I can tell you that. Nobody's bagged up. And they've had 2 weeks to prepare for us, So I think it's an advantage for them.
Yeah, you guys have, I think, 1 or 2 catches from the tight end position this season. Is that just a product of the offense, or are you just not getting enough from that position?
Well, Tyler Sear had a chance if he didn't almost get tackled on a big play. But he had a chance to. So, maybe it's a product of the offense, maybe it's a product of who they are there, making plays, getting open, being in the progression of the quarterback. But we'd like to get our tight ends targeted more. But, they got to get open and be in the progression.
Seems like Virginis has maybe been one of your better players on the defensive side of the ball for 3 games. It's kind of Olesen on the offensive side. They're both fifth-year guys that had up and down careers here. Do you remember sort of what your first impressions were of them when you got here a few years ago after the freshman years?
Well, Quentin we knew was a really good backup that we weren't afraid to put in the game. That was a guy that helped us a lot on 3rd down. I mean, just grown up a lot on and off the field. And then Quadri was a guy that my first year here takes over for James and rushes for over 1,000 yards, but he could have rushed for over 2,000. And we were just talking about dinner last night. He goes, I'm not tripping out a lot faster. I said, I know you aren't tripping and falling down as much. So that guy's picked his feet up and has become really good running back for us. And he's making plays. He's making people miss, and he's not falling down. So both those guys have come a long way. That's what they're supposed to do. That's why we grow up with age.
Pat,
I'm going to go back to your tight end question too. the first play of the game, I believe the tight end is wide open. We don't get it to him. But if you watch that first play, we'll be like, wish we could get it to him. But we didn't see it, didn't get there fast enough. So there's opportunities for those tight ends too, just hit me.
You mentioned when you were talking about Kadri, I asked him if he was lighter than he was last year, and he said not really, but his body fat is different. It looks like there's an explosiveness there, maybe from the first 5 to 7 yards. I mean, the burst there, you talked about the touchdown run. He got through that hole pretty quick, too. I mean, was that a point in the offseason that you kind of go to him and say, hey, if you want to be that guy that separates himself, your body needs to change a little bit?
Well, I think everybody wants to change their body. I mean, I want to change my body. It can't happen. I don't get to spend any time with Coach Andrews and strength staff down there.
I hear your calves are nice.
Congratulations. Thanks to Craig and his obsession. But where's Craig here today? He's probably obsessing somewhere. Lost my train of thought there. But our kids, they want to reduce their body fat. They want to have more horsepower, as Coach Andrews would say. That's what he's got. Again, you watch that first play. That thing split open. He hit it fast because there's nobody in his way. I mean, it was like sealed off. Pom, pom, pom. I mean, it was a work of art, really. I told our kids last night, the defense wanted to watch how it's blocked. I mean, it was perfect. It couldn't have been any perfect than what the blocking was, on the front seven.
Is Kadri attacking a defense more than in the past? I mean, if a linebacker comes up or whatever, you sort of try to run through him a little more?
I don't know. Watch the tape here.
It seems to me like he's not afraid of contact.
Yeah, I hope we don't have anybody in the field that's afraid of contact. But nobody's afraid of contact. And again, reading it faster. It's that maturity. It's knowing what he's doing a little bit better, not confused and just seeing. It comes down to vision, and that takes repetition too. So he's getting a lot of reps, and he's pretty good. And so was Darren Hall. I was impressed with Darren Hall the way he ran and how hard he ran. So I expect him to get some more too.
You mentioned Nathan Elliott earlier. When you're preparing for a quarterback, is it easier now that you have some film on the guy as opposed to last year when he was sort of an unknown?
Yeah, it is. It is when you can see what he likes to do, how he likes to do it. No doubt about it. That'll help us a little bit, having some games on him.
Last week, I think you guys had 23 guys play on defense. Was that a product of playing the triple option, or do you expect that kind of rotation moving forward?
We expect that. We've talked for since spring ball really about the depth we've got on defense, and I know Coach Partridge is moving in 8 guys down there, so that takes a load right there. And linebackers Ice and Salim we feel really comfortable with. Elias Reynolds came in and made some bone hits. He was physical, which is what we saw in practice last week. So when you practice well and you do a good job, we're going to get you in there. If you don't practice so well, you might not get to 28 or 23 guys. Maybe it's 11 guys. It depends on how you practice and what you can do in this game plan. Elias showed last week that he could do it, and it felt like we keep Ice and Salim both healthy and both fresh. We thought that really helped us. Sean played a lot of reps. I think he may have played every down to the field. Really Cam Wright, kind of a little disappointed Cam Wright didn't get in last week because he really had a good feel for this football team, for the Georgia Tech game. So he's gotten better every week as well. It was kind of, I guess, a little sad that he didn't get in because I think he could have impacted the game as well.
As far as the second half struggles on offense, do you notice that is Sean calling the game any different after halftime or anything like that? Or is
no, I think it's it's a matter of the defense, and again, it's a matter of shooting ourselves in the foot. I mean, if we got a chance to make a big play, and we got whatever you want to call it, the end zone, should be another 7 points there. And like I said, it's third down or fourth down when we're not making plays, doing the wrong thing, dropping a ball, whatever it may be. We're not executing. I asked our guys last night, hey, you tired? Are you mentally tired? What is it? You better figure it out. We better get the second half woes of just execution and focus out of our system, or it's going to be it's going to be hard. I mean, we can't do that and make plays. And we got to keep drives going, and we can't just shoot ourselves in the foot with penalties on on those money downs and the second half period. I mean, you got 2 in the first half, and you got 5 in the second, and they're all on third down and fourth down.
What was your player's answer to that question?
I didn't ask him. I just if I ask everybody in here, I'll have 50 different answers. I don't need 50 different answers.
Is it rhetorical?
Some of them. Focus.
Weaver has the 3 fumble recoveries, but I'm sure it's not just the bouncing. Well, one was taken away. But I'm sure it's not just the way the ball is bouncing. He even said it. He's around the ball. He's more alert. He's not loafing. He's the kind of kid that wants to be a part of the action all the time?
I hope we have 11, Jerry. I mean, it's like, oh, Weaver's going to run the ball, so let's put him in this week. But we better have. Our guys did a great job flying in the football last week in practice. I mean, we emphasized we're going to get 11 guys. We're going to gang tackle, and that's the emphasis. Every week. Sometimes these tempo teams that the Penn States, the North Carolinas, the Central Florida, in the coming weeks, they tempo you and they get you out of being able to run football. So we've got to emphasize running to the football, finishing that play, and then getting back home versus tempo offenses. That's what we'll face this weekend. But our guys are running the ball. They better run the ball. Good things happen when you sprint the ball, and that's something since 1962 with the coach.
Is this the best defense you've had in 4 years?
I'll let you know at the end of the year. Yeah, they plays every week. That was one of the best defenses versus Georgia Tech. Let's put it that way. But nobody cares what you did last week. All we care is what you do for me lately. And this week will be the measuring stick, and then next week will be the measuring stick. You got to come and play every week.
Is that message especially important to your defense this week, considering there's not really any carryover from any success against Georgia Tech to a different kind of offense?
Correct. None. Zero. So they were having fun last week, and some people shut it down and go, "Oh, the option. I don't want to play this stuff. Ooh, I'm going to get chopped." Our guys got a great attitude. And they came out to play, but they'll have a great attitude this week, and that's what they do.
Any additional questions?
Kenny wearing that brace to class today?
When he left, he sits right there, and he's like, "I almost came to meetings today with my knee brace on," so he'll be wearing it. Not at need either. He'll be wearing it because the head coach is making it.